Hello guys, and who is excited for Broken Arrow 2.0 to be released to the public today? Now, to install it, go into Steam, properties of the game, and select the public testing environment. And that's how you can get onto the PTE. But as the game releases, I thought I'd give you a good start to the PTE by showing you what the best Russia deck is. And spoilers, the 57 is now fantastic, and you should absolutely use it. So, the first deck that I ever built was the Guards VDV, and it was obviously Armored Airborne as well for the American side, but Guards VDV has been a classic that has just been working since the dawn of man. Since the start of the game, it has been a fantastic deck. I have consistently used many iterations of it, and it just works. And it works so damn well that this is by far, with the changes, in my opinion, the best deck in the game. Now, I actually think this is better than, your Special Forces combinations and stuff like that, and it is honestly the best all-rounder and best for the individual missions that you might want to do. So I'm going to start with the air tab, and then we're going to go through the infantry, tanks, and so on, the helicopters as well. I mean, there's so much going for this deck, especially with the AP buff, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I'm just so excited to share this deck with you. It is honestly fan-bloody-tastic. Right, you have a wide abundance of planes to choose, but in reality, I think you might want to just consider sticking to these three. And for very good reason. Firstly, Su-34 has received a bit of a price decrease, which is actually kind of nice, but that's not what I want to talk about. The thing is, I'm going to post these on the screen, but these missiles, the KH-38 air-to-ground missiles, with 23 damage and quite high penetration, by the way, work unbelievably well. Now, as you know, AA in general has received, on paper it feels like a nerf, but in reality it is a massive buff, and planes get shot down a lot more reliably, so you do need your speed, so that's why this works really well as a strike fighter. And the 1.25 stealth, it's not great, but it is actually pretty useful. In a sort of, borderline, will the plane survive or will it escape? The 0.25 does make a big difference, as well as the 20% ECM. That is really important now. So, here's the shots on the screen of these missiles doing a lot of damage. And there's only two of them, but you've got seed as well, so to increase your survivability. Fantastic. You get good eyesight on targets, you're going to have a really good time, especially when you laser these. Lasering them really helps them to fire, so they're fantastic now. The Su-34, a good old classic of all time, perfect strike plane. Keep to the clusters and you can rip apart. Again, you must have the seed on board, but keep to the clusters and you're going to have a really, really good time in taking stuff off. I should say with the seed, you might want to consider saving it for the last minute, so put it on hold fire, and as you get close to your target, about 3 kilometers away, then you switch them on just to increase your survivability chance. Same with the Su-34. Again, don't get this out because it is really expensive and only has 5% ECM, isn't as fast as the 57. Only use this when you see a big cluster of targets, which is what the cluster bombs are great for. Su-35, no surprises, it is a phenomenal fighter, and actually again with the update these missiles do work a little bit better, and you're gonna get a lot of kills, so yeah, definitely gotta have this one in the game. I thought I'd stick the ECM on it. Usually I used to run it like this, 255 points, nice and cheap, but yeah, ECM works really good. Again, this setup that I've got I think is the winning combination, but there are some really good alternatives. So for example, the Su-30, if you want to do buckline strikes and trade pretty well for shooting down enemy AA, this is a really good option. 290 points, uninterceptable missiles. You can get this thing low altitude, pop it up and destroy the enemy. You need 2 missiles per target, so you're looking at 2 targets here with the 4 missiles. So 290 points, you need to kill at least 2 packs in order for this to be a good trade. Even if you don't actually make a very good trade in terms of points, you're still doing really well in terms of removing the AA so that other planes get a better chance at hitting other targets. So yeah, still a pretty good option. MiG-35, I quite like this too. It is essentially a slightly cheaper version of the 57, but obviously you don't get as much stealth. What do we need? These missiles. Yeah, sweet. Is that the setup we want? So 340 versus 375. They are the same speed. This one does have less fuel, so you can loiter it for less. They do the exact same job, apart from there's 35 points difference. But I think I'll stick to the 57s again, just for that 1.25 stealth. The laser capability, which might come in handy, especially with these missiles, to get them to fire on the specific target that you want. Yeah, I really do prefer this version, for sure. Again, the 0.25 stealth does matter a lot more these days than it used to. IL-76 has obviously become super duper cheap. It used to be 250 points, if I'm not mistaken. Now it's 140, and you know what it's actually really damn good for? Obviously power dropping with the emergency power drop feature works pretty well. You're using the VDV, so the power is, yeah, why wouldn't you get this in? An alternative is to swap out one Su-57, stick this, you blow your budget then, so yeah. I guess if you put the 35s in instead of the 57, then that could be a really good combination too. Yeah, so apart from distracting AA, with this, because it's beefy, it's got your flares, it will take a couple of shots to kill. Yeah, I don't really see too much use for it. You've got more than enough stuff in the deck to make up for it. You could go for a nuke, but that'll drain your budget. I wouldn't recommend it. You could go for the bombs or the cruise missiles, but again, I really don't think it's worth it. Cruise missiles are very easy to intercept these days, so don't do it. This is the absolute fantastic option. Again, I can't exaggerate or emphasize enough how amazing these jets now have become. They're also very beautiful, which is nice, especially this. This is the most beautiful plane in the world in my eyes, apart from maybe the Concorde or SR-71 Blackbird. Right, let's talk about some of the infantry, shall we? Starting off with the Recon, the Recce infantry. Spetsnaz GRU is, VDV Spetsnaz with their firmer barracks is as lethal as ever. This is one of the best low-cost anti-infantry squads, especially if they're stealth. They're just fantastic. Keep them as that. You could upgrade them to the RPG-16, but I don't really think it's worth it at all. This is the way to go for sure. Also, these machine guns, these little portable machine guns, fire inside buildings. Well, as do the Delta machine guns now, they're just really good. If you like flanky stuff, or for openers, the Typhoon VDV is actually really good. That 30mm cannon does not piss about. It is very good. Shoots down helis pretty damn effectively. Of course, it gives you a bit of supply in the vehicle too, which is class. Snipers. Snipers are important as ever in the game. They've always been important. Stick to these. This is actually, I think, the best sniper squad in the game, because it does a lot of damage to any infantry that manages to find your sniper. So against any pure sniper teams, this will win most of the shootouts, I think. And a cheap Typhoon VDV, 35 points, and that's essentially just to help you recover pilots for dirt cheap. And also, again, it's got some supply. Oh, 40 tons of, 0.40 tons of supply in that one. 0.25 tons of supply in that one. Okay. So it could be actually a good little battlefield medic kind of car as well. Didn't think about that. This vehicle is an icon. It is a staple part of the game. It is a fantastic vehicle. 57mm gun rips through light and medium targets, especially if you put it on the flanks really well. Important to note that it has lost its stealth. If you put it as a lookout vehicle only, it's 1.25. If you put it as a shooty vehicle, which is what this is, 1. So it used to be 1.25, it's now just 1. So yeah, huge difference. It kind of makes the option of having this as a credo station very appealing indeed. And I actually quite like this, because you get a bit more vision and a much more longer laser than the VDV snipers. VDV Razvedka, great squad, there is no argument there. It is a fan-bloody-tastic squad. These RPGs hit hard, and you gotta have as many of these guys on the ground as possible. They're also pretty damn decent against infantry, so with the stealth, they're just a nice elusive troop on the battlefield. Even though there's 5 of them, they work pretty damn well. Now you'll notice I have completely avoided going for BMD to spam, and that is for a good reason, because those tactics no longer work at all. 4-post. Right, here's some interesting things to talk about. So the drones are now treated essentially like helicopters where, things can shoot them, like machine guns can shoot them, snipers can shoot them, and stuff like that. So if you're going to deploy these, put thermal barracks on it because the sniper will shoot back if you're trying to clear your back line from him. I think most people used to run them with thermal barracks anyway, so it's not exactly a new thing, but high altitude drones aren't good because they will get shot down by packs, whereas low altitude drones do have a place on the battlefield, especially considering those missiles do 15 damage when they hit infantry. That is pretty substantial. Yeah, good unit right there. I actually really like this drone. I used to always use the Orion for clearing out backlines, but this is better at spotting low altitude targets, so it works well. You could actually consider having this bad boy lethal tank with you, but I just don't like the fact that it lacks a bit of APS. For 300 points, I think it's slightly expensive for what it can achieve. The Metis has received a slight buff, by the way, so you could consider having this little Dune buggy out. I used to enjoy spamming them out with miniguns and heavy machine guns, but yeah, no longer. Don't really have the space for it either, so it's a shame. I think I'll stick to the Typhoon VDVs for that sort of lanky Lima special kind of jobs, So there we go. Right, solid Recon. You've got lots of options and they all work fantastically well. Oh, in terms of the stuff that we missed out, we haven't missed any infantry out. Like I say, spamming the BMD2s, that is a thing of the past these days. It doesn't work that well. And yeah, your only other option is the tank, which is fine, but I can't recommend it. 1.25 stealth though, the tanks keep that. The Sep Tour also keeps that too. Infantry. Verbers. Still love my Verbers. By the way, Verbers and Iglas can one-shot little birds and killer eggs these days, which I think is actually a good change because it is a tiny, fragile helicopter, right? It makes sense. It used to annoy me when it was 8 HP and a Verber would hit it and wouldn't kill it because even though this does 8 damage. Really used to irritate me a lot. It'd survive on like half an HP of health. It was really, really irritating. So I really welcome the change. Verbers are still the best manpad in the game, so bring all 4 of these guys out. Now, I'll talk about the armoured vehicles in a second, because they are very, very important. They've actually become more important with the updates, but I'll cover that in a second. Machine guns have also been buffed, so any squad that's got a machine gun or a light machine gun, which is what this Kashtan is, it's basically a big AK, yeah, they're a bit more lethal. Obviously, 2 RPGs for the price of 60. Price has gone up, but they're still as effective as ever. I've maxed it out with 6 squads, and I think you should do the same thing. It is really good. Now, the Cornets have been nerfed ever so slightly, but only in terms of the amount you can bring. I always used to have 3 or 4 of these bad boys. They do run out of ammo pretty quickly with 6 missiles, but there's plenty of other options to take tanks out, which does include tanks. The best killer of tanks now is another tank. These Cornet missiles aren't that good, so I'm actually happy that the quantity has been reduced to 2. It doesn't really affect me. Sturmoviki. Right, again, machine guns, especially the PKP kind of style stuff, has been buffed. They are very good, and this is a very good medium range infantry killer. Medium, it's almost long range infantry killer. Very, very fantastic squad indeed. Really bugs me that their uniforms are different. I thought they would have given them the same uniform now that they're considered guards, but I guess these guys are the povos who can't afford the better stuff. No, just kidding. But you'll also notice that the resupply time, well, this timer is the return to deck time, so after death, 32 seconds, so no, I'm not sure about that. 5:11. Okay, 32 seconds added if these guys die as opposed to get returned to base. Cool. So 5-minute, pretty good recycle time. Most of these squads have quite a reasonable time, especially like these guys who you can just throw into the meat grinder and not really care. These are still good. I actually still quite like them. They really do help you out with infantry at range. 30 damage, not 30 penetration for heat. It used to be 20. Does really help a lot. Or did it used to be 40? Ooh, am I getting confused with these? Yeah, I am. Okay. Small consideration. You might want to take these instead. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. The reason I used to love the VDV version was because they have 1 extra man and they have 8 armor as opposed to 6. But yeah, now I suppose you can fit 2 of these in a vehicle paired with a verbus, and so actually this is much better. 1.6 damage per minute, whereas here we've got 1.4 damage per minute. Yeah, stick to this. Stick to these guys, they're better. A bit less survivable, but better overall. And I've also got the Desantniki. Now this is something I'm still testing because they are a very large squad. But if you pair the Desantniki with one VDV the Shah, you basically get 3 RPGs firing at the same time, 2 big boy machine guns, 3 machine guns obviously if you pair them. It's a very good combo. It is a beefy squad, 8 health, 10 men, so 50 HP. Every man has 5 HP. It is actually quite a good squad to put in the meat grinder. I don't really have a specific... It is basically just a really good bit of line infantry. I do prefer to have more specialized squads, like mixing these guys with these guys, because again, cheap, good spammy tactics. But if you want just one big solid squad, then this is it. I'm not sure it's the best way forward. You're probably actually better off getting the guard. Oh shit, yeah, I completely forgot about these guys getting buffed. How could I do that? I suppose my line of thought was these used to be 80 points and they used to only have 4 RPGs. So obviously I would choose these guys every time. But now, when you look at, again, 2 beefy machine guns, 5 RPG 28s and a cheaper price, I'm wondering if they're better to take than the Desantniki. Especially when you can stick them on a BMOT. So yeah, let's remove that squad and put these guys in instead. You know what, might be worth getting 2 of these in, but we'll see. Because if you put them in the back of a B-15, which is what I'll talk about next, and use them as jump out boys, i.e. jump them out, fire bazookas, jump them back in, rearm them with that bit of supply, and yeah, you're going to be looking at a winner of a combination. In fact, do I even need the BMOT? It's very slow, and I suppose I can actually upgrade it to be a bit quicker. I'm not sure it's worth it. The MRA on it? No, that only affects your sides. Definitely not worth it. Yeah, okay, we'll try it out. We'll try it out, but ultimately I do think the B10 with its faster speed is going to be the way forward. A lot of people actually run the B10 in the Kurganets sort of version, which is with the APS, so that you can get it to buildings a lot better without upgrading the weapons. I'm not sure I like that idea. I think I will prefer the BMO with its thicker armor, but remember that a tank doesn't care about your armor. It will punch through it with 2 shots regardless. Let's talk about the infantry support vehicles now in more detail, and the ones that I've got in the deck. Now the B-15 with the 57 is an absolute legend. The best part about it is actually, so yeah, this is the 2 units that you can go for, right? Obviously, this can shoot at helicopters way better and take them out a lot quicker, especially if you have 2 of them firing at the same time. But what I really like is the Bulat missile, which does a good amount of damage to infantry and lightly armored vehicles. It can basically finish them off quite effectively. These missiles fire on the move. If you just have the boomerang, you're stuck with the cornets, which is fine, but they only shoot at vehicles and not on the move, which is a bit of a big disadvantage in my eyes. So not only do you get the 57mm cannon, which again is fantastic, but you also get these wonderful missiles. Like we've said, these vehicles can have resupply inside them, which works unbelievably well. I think it's a bit OP if you ask me, to be honest. It heals the infantry, which I don't like. I think it should only be for ammunition, but yeah, it works unbelievably well. 8 seats, so again, 2 squads of the Verba, or these guys, or these guys, or these guys. Really good options right there. Fantastic vehicle. If you have a set of tanks, these are perfect for supporting them. Like, actually perfect, because they give you the missile cover, they give you the fast-firing autocannon to suppress infantry, etc. And they shoot missiles at infantry to get them out the fight. Extra set of missiles just to help distract enemy tanks as well. Perfect vehicles. However, they're a bit pricey, and a cheaper alternative that does a very similar job but not as good are these bad boys. They do actually have slightly more armor for heat, not AP, but again, when you're talking about AP protection, it's irrelevant these days. It's actually irrelevant because everything can shoot through the front of this, everything can shoot through the front of this. Heat helps you out against RPGs, but again, it's a small difference, slightly more survivable against heat. Like I say, tanks now slice through IFVs like a knife through butter, as they should, as they rightly should. That should have been in the game from the start, but I guess they tried to make it a bit more RTS-y as opposed to realistic. Cool, this BMD4, really good vehicle, half the price of this, so again, would you rather two of these for one of these? I'm not sure. The problem is they've only got 5 seats, so if you want VDV jump out boys, especially cornets, they're the best thing to put in the back of these, or the VDV the Shah, then this is your vehicle. This is an absolutely great choice for that. It's got decent armor, very good mobility. It is actually pretty agile. Well, it feels agile anyway. 55 off-road speed. This is going to be quicker with 60. Not a big difference, but still quite useful. 100mm cannon is actually really nice. It fires well. It's got that 100 Vishnya, which means Vishna. It basically means cherry, doesn't it? So yeah, they call it a cherry round and an 80 GM round as well. So you've got the extra bit of range and really good damage against infantry and light vehicles as well. Coax autocannon, so pretty damn good at suppressing infantry, just like this vehicle, but again, this is APS, more seats and more weaponry. So very good options, very good options. I actually quite like using these for starters. I like these for openers as well. A really fantastic vehicle, not because of its ornament, but because of, well, actually this gun is great. It does a lot of damage against infantry. It is fantastic at a very big range, and it does help you rip apart helicopters. Iglas, yeah, pretty good. They do the job that they're supposed to do. But what makes this vehicle great is the fact that it's got 15 seats in it. I wonder if you take the weapons off, do you get more supply? No, that's a shame. It should get more supply. But yeah, no, it's just because it's got 15 seats, so that means 3 squads of the VDV guys. So yeah, pretty damn good. Again, if you put 3 of those into here, you get 6 RPGs, which is insane. And 3 machine guns, which is also really good. The problem is, with the update, which again, I think is a fantastic change, fantastic feature, but the problem you're going to have is the old Kinder Egg strategy of throwing these into the battlefield, hoping that they get destroyed, and then these guys jump out and finish the vehicle like the tank that destroyed this off, is gone. Because now infantry take 50% damage from, or shock effect, from the vehicle if the vehicle is alive, and if the vehicle gets destroyed, the infantry are fully panicked and take a bit of damage as well. So when infantry is fully panicked, they are pretty awful. They're useless, borderline useless, like actually. So don't rely on that strategy anymore. Yeah, spammy IFV tactics are more or less a thing of the past with the massive buff in AP power for tanks, which is really nice to see. Another thing you've got to be careful about, or actually another really good strategy is smoking. So no, not smoking as in light up a cigar. No, smoking vehicles. So you see that vehicles have 1 smoke on them, right? And to resupply that, you can't use this supply, you have to drive to a supply point. A much better strategy is literally jump these guys out, smoke, put them back in the vehicle, they'll get their smoke in a heartbeat for minimal supply. It is a bit of an abuse of the power, but it just works too well. You'd be rude not to use it. You'd be very foolish not to use that strategy. It is a very, very, very good thing to do. Very pro strat. I've talked about everything. This vehicle, like I said, is just a bit tanky. Although, again, tanks will 2-shot this, so I'm not sure that it is worth it anymore at all. You know what? Let me just... Yeah. It's not worth it. It's too slow. It's got armor, but it's not worth it. And you still get your 40 supply here. I would rather the B10 unweaponized version as well. At the same time, I'd rather the B15. I'm not sure. You guys figure that one out. I'll leave that up to you. Let's talk about the best thing about this deck, and that is the vehicles. Now, you're going to be shocked, why is the Barbarous not in there? And I'll talk about that in a minute. But let me talk to you about the best tank in the game, And that is, unsurprisingly, the T14 Armata. Now, the thing is like I keep banging on about the weapons, this is the best gun for Russia in the game. Now, the Americans do have a slight advantage in kinetic penetration. With the SEP V3, it's 525, whereas this is 500. But the thing that you've got here is the fire rate. 5 to 6 seconds reload. That's being buffed because it's supposed to, I guess the argument they've made is it's supposed to be a really super advanced autoloader. This is meant to be a tank of the future. So for example, let me just pin that up for you. Go into Arsenal. Yes, of course, save my loadout. Thank you. Let's have a look at the American SEP V3. Here she is. Oh, it didn't pin it for me. Okay, fine. We'll pin it right now. So you see the gun 5 to 5 and 10. But 6 to 7 seconds reload time. So that's still a pretty damn fast fire rate. But when we compare it to the Armata, you can see who is going to win the 1v1 shootout. Here's the Armata. Here's its stats. I'll let you take that in. Here's the cannon differences. It is a bit of a small difference, you know, 40 on the upper. Yeah. This is going to win all day long. And I just love the Armata, I really do. It is... I've had so many good games with it. I had a really good rampage. Like, once this starts to... Once you've taken out the enemy tanks, and you start pushing into the back line, again, you need supporting units with it, obviously, to take out helicopters, etc. But planes are less effective because of the buff in AA. So, even if this does get destroyed for 400 points, the F-35 or the... F-16 that costs about 400 points to do that will be deleted as well. So it's not a bad trade to have the Armata on the battlefield anymore, which I think is a really, really good feature. Now, you might not like it, but in reality, planes got away with too much in the current state of the game in vanilla, and PTE has made this way better in my eyes and way more effective. You can have more of a ground war as opposed to just spammy tactics and being over-reliant on air power. Now, the Armata obviously can't survive on its own, and that is why you have these T-80s to back you up. Now, they've got a bit of APS, they've got the same speed as the Armata. Armata can self-spot for itself, by the way. Obviously, you guys knew that already. But, yeah, you don't actually need the extra armor. It is fine without it, but it's 10 points, so fuck it, why not? Just put the armor on. It does save you bacon a little bit. Oh, wait, does it? Yeah, the HP also goes up by 1, of course it does. So, yeah, I can't get enough of this vehicle now. I just love playing the ground brawl war, which this does exceptionally well. This is a bit of extra firepower. Remember that 2 shots from any tank upon successful penetration will kill it. Now, the Armata will slice through anything. This will not, because look, the gun is significantly weaker. But again, if you're firing this at a target, this will take more than 50% health off. It'll probably take, well, if tanks are 20 HP, then yeah, I'll take 10. But most tanks are about 16, so you should, on paper, have 6 HP left upon successful penetration. Woof. This will finish it off. So yeah, half the price, almost. You still get your APS, you still get your smokes, and it does the job fantastically. But hey, if you're cash strapped and you want a cheaper, even better options, like say you face a ton of Striker MGSs, the Sprut will take care of them for you, because the Sprut is dirt cheap, 135 points. So yeah, we've got the Armata 400. This is half price, and this is half price of that. You can field a lot of armor for very, very cheap. Very respectable gun, very respectable performance. And again, if you just keep this behind the tanks, it's never going to get hit. I've given it the armor upgrade just because it puts it over the magical 15. Hellfires do 15 damage, so now you can survive a shot from a Hellfire. Essentially, once you use your second smoke, the thing you should do with these guys is just fast move them out of there. Or obviously, if they're on the, you know, if fast moving takes you away from the smoke, then move directly, but just GTFO. You should use these at the maximum range of 1,300 meters and no closer. They are very, very good. I used to have T90s in the deck in the 170 point configuration, but there's no point anymore. You'd much rather one of these instead of a T90. ECM does work again, so there was a problem with terminal guidance got buffed, and it meant that it hits the targets no matter what. And that's a really good change, I really like that. But ECM had no effect whatsoever. ECM now does actually work. So ECM works as it should, and it means that not only the semi-active but terminal guidance weapons do have a chance of missing. So this is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I do like this tank. I just think the Sprut is better, especially for the price. And again, both of these tanks, you don't actually want them to get hit, so I'd rather the cheaper, more nimble version instead of the T90 right there. T90M, you just don't need it. You just don't need it. It is not actually that cheap a tank. It is a bit slow. When you upgrade it to the max, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's cheaper than the Armata, but I'd take the Armata any day. 60 points is a big difference, but you got to remember the speed and getting out of danger is the key. Oh, by the way, I do say keep these in the back line. This is towards your front line, but not on it. And these are just in front of the Armata, just absorbing the damage for it, whilst this keeps spitting out the immense firepower. Now, you could actually adjust the deck, take one of these out, take one of these out, and put another Armata in, but I think it's just a bit too much micro for yourself, because these units, you do need to nurture them, you do need to look after them like a baby, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the American side is going to try and kill this. Understandably, because firstly, it is super duper lethal, secondly, because it's 400 points on the table. So if there's two of them on the battlefield, you've got to micro both very, very carefully, look after them super duper carefully, and if you lose both, that's 800 points down the drain. So that's why I just run one. I do find that it's more than enough. Again, these tanks are good alternatives, and if you just spam out 3 of these with 3 of these behind, that works just as well. You're still going to be having a very good time in that setup. Just like for America, M8s are the way forward now. You've got to absolutely use more of them. They have the best tank cannon in the game. Right, the mighty Terminator. Essentially, just a support tank. I haven't actually used this that much, but the Terminator is mighty, and it does provide really good firepower against infantry. No APS is a big downside, actually. It's a huge downside. These attack and missiles are actually quite good. They can fire on the move, so you can take out some vehicles whilst you're just, the lightly armored Chadleys or whatever. So the missiles are good. It is a good support tank. It works really good in a sort of urban environment where everyone's hiding in buildings. But otherwise, I don't really see much use for it. Similarly, let's talk about the Barbarous now. It has received a 50-point price decrease, potentially rightly so, but the thing is, I actually saw people using and abusing this tank. Don't know why that's not showing up with the new model. Let me click on it here. There she is. Buggy broken arrow, no surprises. But I don't actually find a use for it anymore, especially for that price. So when it comes to killing infantry, you've got this. If you need the 57mm cannon, you've got this, because this cannon is the same as that. It's not the same as this cannon. Let me just pin it up for you. So these are different, ever so slightly, but they are different in terms of the AP penetration. So when it comes to shooting Bradleys and all that, then you want the longer version of the 57mm. Again, bear in mind they are the same price. And if you need missiles or troop carrying capacity, then yeah, the Kurganiets do better. So I just don't see a point of this anymore. Now, you could argue that obviously if you want to do spammy tactics and try and get 2 of these out together, that's fine, you can have a go, but ultimately tanks firing at this will now rip it apart way quicker than before, so that it is way less survivable than it used to be. Because again, the front armor, like I keep saying, upon successful penetration, it will be a 2-shot kill. And that is a lot of points to risk a 2-shot kill vehicle on. So yeah, I really don't see the point. I really don't. And the range of this gun, it isn't as amazing as I hoped it would be. So again, you just don't need it. Oh, here's another vehicle that, by the way, is fantastic at ripping apart helicopters. And is the same power against AP. So I'd rather take one of these any day. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. It's a bit sad because I was looking forward to seeing this go cheaper and spamming it out, but you just don't even need it. You can have a cornet in the deck if you want, but again, ATGMs, they're really... you don't need them anymore. To kill tanks, you use tanks now, and I love that feature. Cool, let's move on before I saliva anymore about how amazing this vehicle has become. Support. Tours, shooting down helicopters. They work great. Any more questions, then yeah. I hope there's no questions. Everyone should know that these are fantastic at killing helis. Diravazza, we've just mentioned it. Very good at killing helis too. You never need to worry about its radar being left on because it's got a pretty nifty range against helis anyway. It will rip them apart. It is actually better in twos, but I cannot afford. Yeah, it doesn't fit in, so I could take one of these out, but I prefer having 3 tours, because when you switch the radar on, obviously you get 1.25 range, so it's just that little bit better for taking out Guardians. Apache Guardians, that is. The Buck M3, the mighty Buck M3. Now, before the update, I think everybody knew that this was better, because it could one-shot and trade super duper well against American planes. No longer. Also, look at that range, that is pathetic. All planes are now a minimum of a 2-shot kill, so you want the upgrade because it has terminal guidance and more ammo. More ammo is very important because also multi-target 2 is very important because obviously your aim time, even though it is 0 to 1 seconds, is very important. It essentially means also, why can this thing not fire on the move? It looks like it should be able to with the rotating turret, so I don't know. Yeah. Maybe this should be changed to fire on the move, but that would make it a bit OP, perhaps. Yeah, essentially what you got with this thing is yeah, the 6 shells is important. The overkill mechanic means that AA systems do go through their ammo a lot quickly, meaning that, you know, having this setup just is no longer feasible whatsoever, especially, again, considering no AA can one-shot planes anymore. And the fact that the missile is yeah, has such low range, even when you have radar on. Radar puts the range up by 2, but you want the terminal guidance. The other missiles are semi-active. These are terminal guidance. That's what's really going to help you shoot down enemy F-35s. So yeah, before it used to be the M2, now it's the M3 all the way, baby, all the way. This is your big supply guy, essentially for helping you repair all your tanks, because you are going to need a lot of supply to do so and to recharge the books. The Kamaz is your infantry guy, so it helps you get a lot of infantry quickly to the front line, but minimal supply. I actually find it kind of ironic that if you have supply loaded onto these vehicles, infantry inside can't rearm or repair themselves, well, heal themselves, unlike these vehicles. So this will heal and give ammo to infantry inside, whereas this will not. You have to actually drop the ammo box and jump the infantry out for that to happen. So not sure, that's a bit asymmetrical, a bit too asymmetrical. Inconsistent is the word I'm looking for, so not great. There's also the Coalition, which by far is the best arty in the game now. Now, we know that the range has been buffed for all the arty by about 500 meters, but hey, 20 laser guided shells. That's huge. That is almost the same as the Iron Thunder. It is the fastest firing. Damn. It is the fastest firing arty in the game. It is immune to shock. Also has a cord on it, which is actually can save you bacon when there's a heli rush. Sometimes. And you just need 2 of them, because 2 laser shells will kill basically any vehicle apart from the max armored Seps out there. So yeah, you only need 2 shells, so 2 vehicles firing at the same time. By the way, make sure you do press hold fire, because of the difference in aim time, so 16 to 20 seconds, and the reload time. If you've got 2 vehicles that should be firing at the same target at supposedly the exact same time, there might be a delay. And that delay could be the difference between your enemy smoking and the second laser shell missing. So make sure you press hold fire and then unhold fire, so release the fire so they fire at the exact same moment, and that way you're going to stack up way more kills, especially in a defensive sort of slug match across open fields. And that's where you need all your recon and all your snipers, etc. to really help you out. Fantastic vehicle, 330 points. I think it should be more expensive, believe it or not. I think all RT, all MLRS should be more expensive and should have a much longer back to the battlefield time. So, but that's the way the game is. You can spam, yeah, it's a bit too easy to RT spam, but there we go. Another change is that the salvos have been changed to from short, medium, long to specific numbers. So 1 shell, 2 shells, 3 shells. And that's a really good feature because actually what you tend to do is only want these to fire 1 shell. So again, 2 of them, so 2 shells firing in the air at the same time before you move them when you've got a vehicle laser guided. So I actually really like that change. And if you want to fire a short burst of 3 with your just random unguided HE, you're still welcome to do that. These are going to be much, much harder to kill because of how good the AA has become. Other honorable mentions that you could have. Oh my god, I haven't put a drock in. That is very, very silly of me. How many drocks can I squeeze in? Okay, fine. I will put 2 drocks in. I nearly forgot to do that. My mistake. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what the drock is now incredible for, it has always been incredible for smoke. You keep that in the game. It used to be 50 points, now it's 40, but is the auto fire. I can't believe I almost completely forgot about that. Auto fire is phenomenal, to put it nicely. It is absolutely incredible. It allows you to essentially fire at targets at will, and you don't have to micro it. I mean, you still could micro it, but for 40 points, do you really care if this gets killed? Not really. So yeah, just put this in the field, let it harass the enemy infantry. I did actually test it out, and I think it's a bit buggy because it tries to go for high value targets, but in my opinion, a squad that costs anything a bit above 70 points as a high value target, just go for it. Just harass it for me. That is your job. It doesn't have great range, but remember, if you put it in the mostly smoke, or it's actually like almost 50-50 smoke, you could put it. I wish you could have one of each, but yeah, you do want your smoke. You do want the mixed capability. But yeah, if it's just going to harass infantry for you, then yeah, why not? I really, really don't mind that feature at all. You can choose either setup, but I'll go for this one. Viennas are good, but they don't have that auto fire. You have to micro them. Nonnas are even better, but they're a little bit pricey for my liking, and if you upgrade them to the laser guided, it's even better because you can harass infantry a lot better, but like I say, a little bit expensive for my liking. These used to be 60, now they're 90, so yeah, no, not worth it. The other units that you can go for is, of course, the toss. Now, I love tossing my tosses around. Worth 2,400 meter range, firmer barracks, very, very powerful. Has been nerfed a bit, and the reload time is, for my liking, way too long. So I don't really have an infantry removal unit in this deck, but I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, to be honest. I really don't. I think my armor should be able to deal with it. I'm hoping that I might not have a tool to deal with, well, I do in the form of helicopters, but no sort of ground tool to deal with a mass of infantry in a forest. Apart from these coalitions, I don't mind that too much. I don't mind that. The infantry is good. I do have, the Sturmoviki, the AGSs, the VDV, the Shah are excellent for the price. VDV Spetsnaz, phenomenal forest clearers, really, really good. Very good in CQB environments as well. So I do more or less have that angle covered, I think. Yeah, I don't need the grid square remover. The coalition will do the job, I hope. So, yeah. I think I'm going to have to delete another command just to make space for that drock, which is fine. I can live with that. Now the helicopters. This is the last section of the video, so I'm sure you're sad that it's coming to an end, but let me tell you, these 2 helicopters are all that you need. You have a fantastic selection of helos. By the way, another big pro is that they've become a bit more agile, a bit more nifty, which I like a lot. These are the only two helicopters you will ever need in a plane as Russia. This is your tanky missile absorber, Stinger absorber, and it can do a lot of damage to infantry really quickly. These missiles will fire at the same time, or rockets, sorry, and this gun is actually pretty damn good against infantry too, so it is very, very effective. With all helicopters nowadays, you need to do a smash and dash approach. You can't loiter a helicopter anywhere near the front line. You smash in, fire your rockets, and GTFO. That is the only way to play helos these days. Now, the Mi-28s are fantastic for that, and you want to have them in the Lima and, yeah, obviously named after me, the Lima missile and the Igla missile configuration. Because you don't need, like a lot of people do this, right? And you do get a lot more missiles and they do fire faster, but the Limas have been buffed where they fire faster and their actual velocity in the air is much quicker. So, with the smash and dash approach, you only need 4. Again, if you have 2 of these helos, that's obviously 8 missiles. You fly them in, fire the missiles, almost all of them, it doesn't have to be all, and then you retreat before the Americans try to shoot this down. Again, it's a very, very juicy target. You do want the Iglas on it though, and that is for enemy helicopters that try to chase you. You do want the Iglas to be firing as fast as possible. It is also a really good consideration to put Iglas on this. Again, if you're smashing and dashing, it might say, you know what, I will actually do that. It might save you bacon, so 95 points. God, what do I cut? I can cut this out and then I can get another commands. There we go. There is the perfect combo. And what's really good is if you're going to do flanky stuff, then obviously you've got a bit more firepower to deal with American killer eggs or Comanches, all that kind of stuff, which is really nice. Again, a bit too expensive to do suicide stuff with. Again, this was less of a loss before, now it's a bit more of a pricey loss, but actually I do think you do need the extra missiles right there, because again, 4 missiles firing at the same time is better than 2. Cool. By the way, Limas also rip apart vehicles, so tanks or Bradleys, they will do a shit ton of damage, if not one-shotting them, most vehicles. So yeah, phenomenal. A lot of the top pro Elo and, you know, the really competitive tester guys that I've been playing against on the PTE, they use these to, yeah, it's really hard to play against when they spam these helicopters out, and, you know, if 4 of these come forward to the front line at the same time, you're in for a really, really bad day. 15% ECM, improved agility, good speed, 30 armor, 15 health, very, very tanky helicopters. I really love using them. You will also love using them if you're brave enough to put so many points on the line. In all honesty, if you've got a fighter jet that can take these out, it is worth scrambling it to try and kill these things, because they will do a lot of damage, and more often than not, they survive or manage to crawl away on 1 HP low altitude. So getting these things to stay alive is sort of a magic trick, but it's absolutely worth it. I'll quickly go over the other helicopters that are really good options too. This is actually a solid option, really. Mi-35 is, 24 and the Mi-35 are both phenomenal options, pretty good price, and you can put a lot of different weapons on them, but honestly, I just stick to these because they're better. Mi-26, biggest helicopter in the world, has also got the best lifting power in the world, if I'm not mistaken. This has lifted a Chinook before. I love the helicopter just because of how huge it is, but ultimately it is very unagile, slow, clumsy, and way too easy to shoot down. It doesn't have any ECM. You're much better off using these guys with their ECM instead. But again, I don't feel I need a supply helicopter, and I can't fit one in unless I do this. But oh, it is tempting. It is really tempting, but no, I'll stick with my guns there. I don't need it. Also, when helicopters drop supply, they are often easy to spot, and then that position where, you know, you've got your supply, injured units, does get targeted by arty and blown up, so actually kills more units than it saves by throwing in the supply to treat them. So yeah, very ironic. Cool, that is it. Wow, what a long discussion. How long have I been ranting on for? 49 minutes. If you're still watching at this point, then you have my respect, because I really do think that There's been a lot of knowledge thrown at you here. And yeah, in 2.0, trust me, this deck is going to absolutely rip enemies apart. It is my favorite deck of all time. My favorite combination of all time, and it just works super duper well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, smash and dash with your helicopters, smash and dash, scream in with afterburners with this, and you're going to do really well. Smash and dash with these as well. Don't leave them, they're fragile. Don't leave them near the front line for too long. Just fire your weapons, smoke, get out. Again, jump your infantry out, smoke, get out. Just make sure you keep using the smash and dash tactics, and when you use the armata paired with these tanks, just enjoy yourself, savor the moment. You're going to be having a really, really good time. You probably, if you're successful, which again I have been in the past, with blitzing through the enemy's lines, even with just these two paired together, you're going to make it all the way to the enemy AA before they even have a chance to stop you. Unbelievable bit of kit. Really, really great deck. I can't wait for you guys to use it and dominate the battlefield. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe as always, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.